Right, just gone 10 a.m. and of the next few minutes we are focusing on the motion of no confidence D-Day once again for Johannesburg Mayor Mpho Phalatse. We are going across now to be joined by activists. We've got Anisa Mazimpaka on the line. Anisa, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and shukran for having me.
Yes, Mpho Phalatse getting quite used to all these motions of no confidence against her, and once again we're seeing her under the radar in the spotlight. What is the latest with regard to this motion, this particular motion of no confidence, Anisa?
Yes, so she's no stranger to motions of no confidence. We did see how these motions were last year. But in fact, one of the motions are actually carried over from last year's council seating. But also it is then followed up with two other motions. And all of these motions are coming from minority opposition parties, minority opposition parties such as the AIC and Al Jama. So yeah, we can expect about three motions of no confidence to be tabled against her, amongst other business of the council today.
Yes. Now, just to understand what the issues are or the reasons behind these motions of no confidence, Anisa, what are those?
So you will realize that last year, the issue that was taken to court was on the basis that she had not disclosed the fact that she was linked to an ongoing case. She did not disclose that. However, she took the council resolutions, or council rather, to court to dispute things based on technicalities. So one of the points on the agenda is that, we do know about the 2 billion loan that her council has failed to raise. There's a whole number of issues, but let me just read what the specific motion states. So number one, it states that the executive mayor does not care about the residents of the city of Johannesburg, and there's a whole reasons attached to that. And the second point is that the executive mayor has no sense of strategic direction for the city, and there's no sight of hope under her leadership. And I think this has to do with a number of issues that they preferred to have not listed. So it seems like the motions of no confidence just went straight into, giving a reason and not divulging too much, to explain as to what it is. But we did see these explanations in the previous motions of no confidence.
Well, what is going to be interesting is to see, how the other parties react, because we know these are minority parties, the ATM, the AIC, Al Jama, they are tabling these motions. But again, how will they be able to convince some of the other parties that matter? We're looking at parties like Action SA, we're looking at the EFF, and we know obviously what the
Yes.
ANC's position is. That is going to be straightforward, but it's going to be interesting to see how the other parties, particularly the EFF and Action SA, support these motions, or they do not support these motions, because that is going to be absolutely critical. Party politics is going to come in. Horse trading is actually going to come in as well, because this seems to be how coalition governments are working in the country lately.
No, most definitely. And it's interesting that you mention Action SA and EFF amongst the other parties. However, in this case, with these motions being tabled, Action SA is a non-factor. Action SA is not even considered, because Action SA, you remember, is part of the multi-party government. So even consulting them, they're irrelevant in this case. The minority opposition parties have always stood with what was formerly known as the government of local unity, and we have seen the economic freedom fighters stand by the minority through and through all of these motions, except for the time, we all know of the issue that happened in Ikurleni. So Action SA is a non-factor. Right now, the focus would be on the minority party, which is the minority opposition bloc, a progressive bloc that was formed by minorities, as well as the ANC and the EFF and the Patriotic Alliance, who have now come back to the government of local unity. I think in the recent days, we had heard that there were prospects of them, returning to the multi-party government. However, we have seen how the DA has been inconsiderate, have been bullied, and have not been listening to anyone. This, despite the fact that Action SA's desperation to remain in power by giving two of their seats to the Patriotic Alliance. We saw these talks fall through. So Action SA, unfortunately, has just been used by the Democratic Alliance. Unfortunately, the Democratic Alliance, and we've seen that the Democratic Alliance has, I wouldn't even say failed, but they have not been protecting their deployee who is Mpho Phalatse. She's left in the cold to try and gather all of these coalition parties on her own. But unfortunately, that has fallen through. Coalition partners do not have any space in the coalition. So it's not just about the government of local unity uniting, but it's also about the downfall of the multi-party government and the failures of the DA as the leader of that multi-party government to actually bring together the people.
Well, Anisa, we're going to watch your space today, but for now, Jazakallah for your time. We appreciate it. Please take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Anisa Mazimpaka with us this morning, and with that, we ending off the broadcast. Next up is going to be Juice 4, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Ajmi from myself and the team. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's a new beginning.